Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is super fun. I'm gonna be going through a whole bunch of things that you should be considering before you choose the legal field, before you decide to go to law school. Should you choose it? Shouldn't you choose it? Is it for you? Watch this video and you'll find out. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. Number one, the first thing that you want to know is that not all law schools are worth going to. And some people will like jump down your throat if you say this, but it is a fact, okay? Not all law schools are worth going to. Some law schools are indeed predatory law schools. And what I mean by that is some law schools solicit students to come to their law school, get them to go, they graduate without a job, they're 6 figures in debt, they can't actually practice, they don't pass the bar, right? A whole rack of things that I can go into, and this is verifiable data for some law schools. And the reason they do it is because money. The law school wants money. The law school needs money to continue to be a law school. And so not all law schools are worth going to, which is why you have pages like mine so that you can do your research and decide, is this law school worth going to? Is it worth going to in terms of what I want to do, in terms of what I want my future career to look like? And that's so important for you to know, because you aren't going to law school to stay in law school forever. You're going to law school to get a job. And so you want to make sure first and foremost that your law school can make that a reality for you. So what are some telltale signs of, maybe I need to dig a little deeper here, right? Now, let me say this as a disclaimer, because nowadays, common sense just goes out the window. Common sense has gone out the window in this social media day and age, but let me just put this here really quickly. I'm gonna give you some things that you can look into and things that you can start considering, but this doesn't mean that the law school itself is not worth going to. It's just, ding, a little light bulb should go off when you see these things or when you hear about these things, telling you to do more research, okay? So the first one on this list is conditional scholarships. I know a lot of schools give conditional scholarships. I don't like them. A lot of people don't like them. I didn't take them. I tell my clients not to take them. I don't like them. What a conditional scholarship is, it essentially says, you are only going to get this scholarship if you maintain this GPA. I don't know if you know this, but most law schools grade you on a curve. You cannot, before you have started law school, guarantee that you're going to be able to maintain a certain GPA, be able to maintain a 3.3, a 3.4, a 3.5, whatever that condition on your scholarship is. And so I don't like it for that reason, because if the sole reason you're going to this law school is because they've offered you this scholarship and you have a chance at losing that scholarship if you don't maintain that GPA, then all of a sudden for the remainder of your 2 years at that law school, you're paying 6 figures. You're paying full price when you never would have went to that school at full price. So here, this is something that should definitely, again, hit a light bulb, because if you wouldn't go to that school at sticker price, then you probably shouldn't accept a conditional scholarship to go there. And now you're thinking, but Sephora, what if it's a T14? T14s don't offer conditional scholarships, right? At least to my knowledge. The last time I've done my research, none of them do. I don't want to state that as a blanket fact, although I'm pretty sure it is. To my knowledge, top law schools are not really offering those conditional scholarships because they don't have to, right? They're just offering the scholarship. So again, just something that you should do your research on. The other thing here is low employment outcomes. Deep sigh, literal deep sigh, because I've had clients that I had to walk them through this, and everything that I'm talking about here, everything that we're gonna go through here, I talk about, I share about, I walk my clients through step by step in my application accelerator. It's actually called the Greats Application Accelerator, which is my coaching community where I walk you through the entire application process all the way up to your first year in law school and helping you land that job. So application process, scholarships, interviews, coaching calls, LSAT, literally everything you're getting in that community. The information for that community will be down below, but I'll get to that more a little bit later. But anyway, employment outcomes. If your school has lower than a 50% employment percentage, that means that of all the students they have graduated, guess what? Less than 50% are graduating with jobs. That's what that means. And that is not good, because again, the purpose of going to law school is to get a job. And so That's another thing that you want to be looking into. Number 3, well, we're still all under this one umbrella of not all law schools are worth going to. These are just the sub parts of why not all law schools are worth going to. So number 3 under this main umbrella is low bar passage rates. And all of these things, when you start doing your research, you'll see they kind of actually all interplay. Typically, when a school has low bar passage rates, typically you'll also find that their employment rates are low, and you'll also find that they offer conditional scholarships. Obviously, again, not in all circumstances, not in all situations, but there's usually some corresponding pieces and interplay between these things when you find those schools, right? So low bar passage rates, of course, to actually practice as an attorney, you need to pass the bar. And so some of these schools do have low bar passage rates. People aren't passing on the first or even second try, and sometimes not passing at all. Number 4 under this, again, umbrella is failing out. Some law schools, and maybe more than some, you can fail out of. And so I will tell you, for instance, a lot of the top law schools, I can speak directly to Georgetown and a couple of other top law schools that I have my clients at in the T14 and T20, you can't get a failing grade. You can't fail out of law school. However, some law schools you can fail out of. And I've actually had clients who have been academically dismissed. They have failed out and have come to me for help to get back in. But the point is, these are, again, just things that you want to look out for under the umbrella of, is this school worth going to? Will I be able to get the job that I want to get, paying me what I needed to pay me so that I can pay off this debt, if especially I'm going to go 6 figures into debt to go to law school, okay? So that's that first umbrella, and those are your subparts. The second piece, or the second umbrella, law school is hard work. And I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but I do, okay? Because it is important. If you're deciding if you want to go to law school, please know you're not gonna cruise. Now, undergrad was so easy for me, and I truly did cruise through undergrad. I don't really remember ever truly studying. And if I studied, it was the night before. The one main class that I think I did study for was Spanish. And that's my minor, and it's because it wasn't my first language. I think I also studied a little bit for general chemistry, right? But not even as much as I should have, and I still got a good grade on the final. But the point is, law school ain't like that, baby. Law school is not like that. It is hard work. You're going to be studying. Law school is like a full-time job, maybe plus more. But not only that, you're gonna feel a little bit of pressure just because you're probably in a room, you're probably attending with a bunch of type A people. You're gonna feel their stress. You're gonna be stressed. You're graded on a curve. You're trying to get a job. You're trying to land a clerkship. You're trying to land a big law job. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. Law school is hard work, it can be stressful, and you just have to be mentally prepared for that. If you are not in a place where you can be prepared to be stressed, and it's so funny, I'm laughing because it's just like, Sephora, how can you be prepared to be stressed, right? And what I really mean here is, if you need to be in a good place mentally, physically, and emotionally to go into law school, okay? You do not need to be on your last string. You don't need to be skating on thin ice, none of that. You need to be solid as you prepare to go into law school. Now, of course, you're gonna have your anxieties and your little moments of stress and worry and all that, especially when you're thinking about it and going through the process like my clients are right now. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, literally in the core of your being, you need to be solid, because law school is just going to add on to that, if not triple it, okay, quadruple it. And so you really do need to be as solid as possible as you're going in. You need to make sure you have routines to keep you grounded, to keep you sane. You know, I talked about creating a schedule, all that good stuff, but that's definitely another thing you need to be considering if you're deciding, hey, is law school, is the legal path for me? Under the same umbrella of law school is hard work, you need to be prepared, is, do you have 3 to 4 years to commit? The reason why I say 4 is if you do part-time, right? You gotta commit. You have to have those years to commit, right? So some people go in and they have families, and some of my clients have families. Some of my clients have children. Some of my clients are married with 3, 4 kids. Some of them they want to have kids, right? You have to think about that and plan for that. And I talk about that with my clients, again, in my Grace Application Accelerator community, like how they can plan for that, especially if they're uprooting their entire family to move with them for law school, what it's going to be like when they're in law school, especially if they're going to go full time while they have a family? Is your spouse going to be prepared to pick up most of that load of taking care of the family, of maybe handling the finances, being the main breadwinner, all that stuff for those 3 or 4 years while you're in law school, right? Even for my part-timers, I have, again, clients who are going to go part-time because they're going to keep their full-time job. That still means you're going to work full-time in the day, and at night you're in school. It's, there's only so much time during those 3 to 4 years when you're really going to be not committed to law school stuff, especially after that first year. That first year is really, really crucial, and that's the main thing, is getting over that first year, because after that you can kind of maneuver things and do things according to what you want to do, and make your schedule either easier, whatever. You're more in control of your schedule. But that first year, you have to be prepared for that. So you want to ask yourself, do I have the time, do I have the ability to make that commitment as I'm preparing to start or apply to law school? Our next umbrella, which is number 3. So remember, we're doing umbrellas, but each umbrella kind of has subparts. So number 3 is, not all attorneys make a whole rack of money. Not all attorneys are pulling in $300,000, $400,000, even $200,000, right? So for the most part, and this is Googleable, look up the average salary of an attorney, and maybe, and let me be specific here. Look up the average salary of an attorney in the area that you want to practice, right? Because the average salary of an attorney in different areas are going to differ, right? If you're in New York or DC, it may be higher, California may be higher, but in your area, maybe you want to practice somewhere else, it may not be as high. But I think a lot of people see or hear attorney and it's like ding, 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 like the money signs for eyes, like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me. You want to go to law school to make money? I'm here to help you do it. Okay. That's what I do for my clients, right? But what I'm saying here is, not all attorneys are making that kind of money, right? And for the most part, the people making that kind of money coming out of law school are going into big law. That's what I did. That's also with my federal clerkships, getting those federal clerkship bonus. I have videos on that already. But outside of like big law and really lucrative positions, so like in-house at top Fortune 500 companies, maybe even higher ranking level government attorneys, the average salary of an attorney is not that high, 200, 300, even up to 600, unless you're, and then the partners who are making millions, right? The average salary of an attorney is not that amount, right? And that is not to steer you away. In fact, none of this is to steer you away. It's just so that you're aware of what you're going into and what you can think about. So if you know, or if money and the amount that you're making is very important to you, then that's why it's so important that you are putting in the work at the application stage, so you can get into a law school that's going to make that a reality for you. Because if, say, you're like, well, I want to make big law, I want to go into big law, which right now market is $225,000 starting. So when you graduate law school and go in as a first year, that's what you're making. If that's your goal, you need to be at a law school that places over 50% of their graduates into big law. Why? Because those law schools are going to give you the best chance at landing big law. If you're at a school that places less than 30%, you're probably going to need to be top of your class in order to land those jobs. And like I said, that's not something you can guarantee. And so why gamble it, And you'll see people like, don't listen to that. I went to a tier 2 or a tier 3, so schools ranked outside of the top 100, and I landed a big law job. And I hate to break it to you, but your one-off experience doesn't defray, deny, or make untrue the facts or the majority of what is the case, right? Your one-off, 1 in a million, one instance, or maybe even few instances doesn't defray what happens to the majority, right? And so you really have to be meticulous with, first of all, one, what you're listening to online, but also with just doing your own research, right? The facts are there. You can look it up. You can see what law schools are placing a high percentage of their graduates into big law and what law schools are not. And so it's really a matter of, if this is your main goal, then putting in the work on the front end to make that easier for you, to make that attainable for you, right? Because that's why you're saying you want to go to law school. You want to make that money because you want to pay off debt, because you want to build a nice life for yourself, whatever. Then that's what you need to be aware of from it now. Now, of course, you can start off in big law and then transition and do something else. I have a whole video up on career freedom and flexibility, okay? Right, which is exactly what you can be aiming for. So let's go to our next one. Our next one is, do you actually want to practice, right? Do you actually want to practice law? Now, this is not going in the direction that you think it's going to go, because you don't have to want to practice law to want to go to law school, okay? There's so many different things that you can do, but what I want you to think about here is, do you have to go to law school to do the thing that you want to do? If you just want to be a high school professor or university professor, do you have to go to law school to do that? Do you have to go hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt to do that? Or can you do that through another route, right? So you're asking yourself, if you don't want to practice law, what is it that you do want to do? And do you have to go to law school to do it? Now, of course, if your answer is, well, no, I don't want to practice law, but I would love to be in academia, I want to teach at law school. Yeah, you got to go to law school to do that. So that answers your question, right? I want to be a judge. Well, that answers your question. Maybe you want to go into politics, and no, you don't have to go to law school to go into politics, but it is probably definitely a good route for you to get there if you don't have any other route to get there, if you haven't done an internship, if you like haven't worked there, like, right? So many different routes, but what you're asking yourself is, do I have to go to law school to get to my end goal? And will law school help me in my pursuit of whatever that end goal is, okay? The next thing that we have here, so the next umbrella, so let me cover the umbrellas that we've covered. One is, not all law schools are worth going to. 2 is, law school is hard work. 3 is, not all attorneys are making tons of 6 figures. 4, do you actually want to practice or considering your post-law school goals? And 5, which I haven't talked about yet, it's a great way to get career freedom, right? So when you're thinking about, should you go into the legal field, should you go to law school, I have a whole video on this already, career freedom and flexibility and all that stuff. But what I have found is just a legal degree, a JD, going to law school gives you so much career freedom in so many different ways, right? And so technically, I'm not only an attorney, but I'm also a business owner. But my business isn't actually me teaching the law, or isn't actually me practicing law, right? But my legal degree has allowed me to run my business, has given me the foundations to run my business. So that's career freedom and flexibility. I know other people who have their legal degree and they've become consultants. That's career freedom and flexibility. Other people who have become coaches, that's career freedom and flexibility, who have written books, right? So there's different ways that you can use your legal degree to give yourself that career freedom and flexibility, which also is a pathway to making more money if that's what you want to do, without killing yourself in trying to get there, right? And so what I've noticed is, and I see this all the time, and I gotta stop telling people this, but I don't want to lie, so I probably won't. But when I go out, I was getting my nails done. I was getting my nails done today, and my nail tech asked me, so what do you do? And I just get this question all the time. So what do you do? I was like, oh, I'm an attorney. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, well, let me do your nails really well, because, you know, I'm gonna need your help later on. And then I was sitting in the chair getting a pedicure, and the girl next to me was like, oh, I need you. I got XYZ case, right? But what I'm saying is here, there comes a sort of air of like, oh my gosh, you're an attorney, right? When you tell this to people, and you'll notice it, and you see it, and I definitely do. I see it all the time. I hear it all the time, and you also get special treatment because of it. And so because of that, again, there's that freedom, that flexibility to kind of work your way into areas, into different things that maybe you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have that legal degree. And I've got so many more examples here, but I don't want this video to be an hour long, so I won't go into too many. But another example I do have is, you know, even actually, ironically, I do have this example for someone who is a high school teacher. And that's because what he was told was, we want you to go get your degree, we will pay for it, but then you'll come in at this high level. you'll come in up here, right? Another example, one of my friends who works in finance, they're paying for, she goes to law school part-time, they're paying for it, and she'll come in at this high level because she's getting the legal education in conjunction with the finance piece. And when they put that together, unbeatable, right? And so that's what I mean when I'm talking about different types of career freedom. And that's definitely something that you can consider with whether or not you should get your legal degree, whether or not you should go to law school. I keep saying legal degree. I mean, JD, Juris Doctor, but it's the same thing, whatever. I've just never said legal degree before this video. I don't know why I'm saying it now. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 6, it's a great way to provide for yourself and give back to others. Now, a lot of my clients, that's their main thing. That's what they want to do, is they want to provide a good life for themselves. They enjoy the finer things in life. I definitely do. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to hide about it. But also providing for yourself, when your cup is full, it makes you more able to give back to others. So to give to charity, to donate to the political candidate of your choosing, to support causes. You can't do any of that if you're poor. You can't do any of that pouring from an empty cup. And so having that degree and having that ability to just give back the way you want to give back, to support others the way you want to support others, to donate your time, to donate your money, to kind of just live life on your terms and not anybody else's, is definitely something that a legal degree can give you, a JD can give you. Again, like on this point, what I want to emphasize here is making sure that you're really meticulous at the application stage with doing your research and making sure that you're approaching the process correctly, priming yourself to stand out in admissions, building that application to get into those law schools that can really make all of these things a reality for you. Because again, like I said, not all law schools are worth going to. So you really want to keep that in mind. And if you're thinking, okay, Sephora, this is a great video, I love it, I've watched all your other videos, or I'm going to, but I have no idea what I'm doing, where I'm going, but I've got big goals. Or even if you know where you're going, right? Because a lot of my clients come to me, they're like, Sephora, I want to go to a top law school, I want big law, I want a federal clerkship, I've got these big goals, I want to do all these things, I just need you to help me get there. That's exactly what I do for all of my clients. So actually this month we opened up our Greats Application Accelerator community. This is where I work with all of my clients. It's where you can get the information you need, the help on your applications. That's how to stand out in your law school admissions process, your LSAT tutoring. It's where you get to ask me all your questions. It's where you get to access all of our trainings, all of our resources. I put examples, templates, literally everything in there. It is in that Application Accelerator community. There are multiple tiers that you can choose to join under. It is a monthly coaching community, which means you pay monthly, and you're getting all this information so you are prepared for your entire law school application cycle. It actually leads into coaching into your 1L year. So I've mentioned it before on this channel, how I talked about my law school student clients who I've helped land big law jobs. Most recently, my client who at one point said, Sephora, I'm never getting into law school because she had an LSAT in the 140s. And then this summer, after doing this program that I'm talking about this summer, she landed her big law job after getting into a law school with scholarships. So again, if you're looking for that help, you do want to make sure you get into that community this month. You can access it in the description box. It'll be the first link there, or on the screen, just go to toppingthecurve.com/coaching. Okay, so what number are we on? We are on number 7. Number 7. There's so many different things you can do with a degree. There's so many different things you can do with the JD. I mean, and I have a list here and I'll read it to you, but then I'll talk a little bit more about what these different things are and what you can consider. So academia, politics, a judge, you can go into corporate, you can go into litigation, you can go into arbitration, you can go into coaching, you can go into consulting. I mean, I just listed 8 things off from this list, but there's so many different career paths you can go. Academia is a law professor, politics, that speaks for itself, judge speaks for itself, corporate. You can do corporate at a medium firm, small firm, big law firm, whatever. You can start your own firm. That's not on here, but definitely starting your own firm. Litigation, you can also do at different types of firms, small, medium, big, boutique. You have arbitration, right? So that's more, it's not litigation, it's more like negotiation and mediation. Coaching, like what I do, consulting. So just so many different options that having a JD can give to you and benefit you in the long run. So in sum, what you want to consider when you're, is the law school path for me, is just having a basic understanding of, one, not only what it can do for you, but what you want for yourself, right? What are your ultimate goals? Like, where do you want to be when you graduate from law school? If you were to graduate, what would you hope to be doing? And can you get there through a legal degree, or do you need, or do you have to get there through a legal degree, or can you take some other route? So thinking about these different things as you're deciding, hey, should I choose law school, is going to help you along your path. Now, of course, if you are interested, you should definitely sign up for the waitlist if it's waitlisted, or if it's open, join our application accelerator community, and you can ask me all these questions and I will help you through your entire process, building that application to help you get into top law schools and land those jobs. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are not already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and like and comment and share with someone who you know may be considering law school, interested in law school, anything along those lines, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you liked most about this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can follow us on Topping the Curve on all social media, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.